Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here with us for our 13th Teen Summit this afternoon in our last session. We're so grateful to have all of you here on a Friday afternoon, but it will be well worth it. Today we have a panel to talk about the brand new Massachusetts Teen Choice Award. And so today we have Suzanne Larson from Seekonk High School, Susan Elbag from Lunenburg Public Library, Trisha London from Abington High School, Claire Laprade from Worcester Public Library, and then also Amaya Turner, who's a student at Abington High School. And so I'm going to keep it short and sweet and then turn it over to them. It's all yours.
Great. Thank you so much, Christy, and thank you everybody for joining us today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Apologies in advance. I'm a little out of Zoom practice, so, which is good, right? Because we're no longer in COVID times. So my name is Suzanne Larson, and I am the chair of the Massachusetts Teen Choice Book Award Committee. And I'm going to be moderating this quick panel, and I'm going to introduce each panelist and let them just talk a little bit, tell you who they are. So Susan Elbag is our chair of the marketing committee for the Teen Choice Book Award. And I forgot to put your library on there. I'm so sorry, Susan.
Okay.
Why don't you tell everybody?
Sure. So I am the teen librarian at the Lunenburg Public Library, which is in, north central Massachusetts.
Great, thank you. Claire Laprade is here from Worcester. Claire?
Hi.
And you're the teen services librarian.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I didn't know he wanted me to introduce myself now. Yep, I'm one of 3 teen librarians here, actually. We have 3 to cover the main library and our 7 branches as well.
Wonderful, thank you. And we've got Trisha London here.
We're just the opposite. We have 1 librarian for 2 schools. We have a big building. So the middle school grades 5 through 8 are one side, and then our high school on the other side, 9 through 12. And Amaya is a senior there.
Wonderful. Amaya, tell us about yourself.
I'm Amaya Turner. I'm a senior at Abington. I've been able to work with Mrs. London for a couple of years now, and it has been delightful. And this year I had the honor of serving as the senior ambassador of the Book Choice Awards for my school. So I was one of the students who helped advertise it, and we put together videos and did the outreach portion of it.
Thank you so much. So, and that's really what we're talking about. You captured it perfectly there, Amaya. I'm going to start by talking a little bit about, and first of all, connect with us, because this is what we do. We're talking about promotion. So I'll throw this slide up and I'll put it again at the end of the of our panel. But let me tell you a little bit about the award background first, and then I'm going to turn it over to our panelists to kind of say, once we put this thing in motion, what they did with it. And I know that we have an audience from all over New England. This is very, very exciting. Our case is we're talking about a particular teen book award, but I mean, please keep in mind, this can be any award, that can be used for generating excitement among your readers and encourage them to maybe read some new titles or read beyond, kind of their normal stuff. So the award background is that Massachusetts had a great children's book award, but there was no equivalent at all for a teen audience. And, we felt, me along with a few other librarians, Barb Fecto, she was one of the founders, felt that teen choice and voice was important. So we looked around, we talked to our very kind neighbors in Rhode Island, the Rhode Island Teen Book Award. I don't know if anybody's in the audience who serves on that committee, but they were absolutely amazing, Sarah Hanicki, with sharing their information. And we got it together. We pulled together 22 librarians who were more than willing, enthusiastic, and so committed. And we were able to read like crazy and announce a list in March of 2022 that was then promoted throughout this past summer. We were looking to catch the summer reading program wave at a lot of the public libraries. We opened up voting for approximately 3 weeks in September, and then announced our very first winners in October of 22. So yes, we did it. And we were just as amazed as everyone else. So these were our nominees. I just, don't want to spend a lot of time, but we all know, I know my audience, I know you like to look at pretty book covers just like I do. So these were our phenomenal 2022 nominees. You'll see the keynote speaker for today's conference, Mike Curato, was on there. It's very exciting. And these were our winners. This is what the teens of Massachusetts decided were their choices. To really no one's surprise, anybody that's been following the Heartstopper juggernaut, I mean, that's, you know, clearly, but Fallout, Inheritance Games, we were excited for all of those. So that was, in a nutshell, the awards. Oops, not Q&A, not yet. I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to, I'm going to turn it over first to Susan Elbag, who was our marketing chair on the committee, that she, you know, really took it to start promoting. So over to you, Susan.
Sure. So there were a few of us from the reading committee that signed up to be on the marketing committee. I am co-chair with one of the other members. We decided the best way to do it was to kind of divide and conquer. We had one member who was very confident with Canva, who made all of our amazing graphics. And so from that point of view, their workload was front loaded, where they had to make all of the graphics. And then we split up all the social media. We knew that Facebook, Instagram, Twitter would probably be us connecting with other library professionals. But we were hoping that with TikTok, we could actually get teens in Massachusetts involved and kind of connect with them that way. So we are all over social media. We planned out a calendar. We wanted to promote all of the books. So we decided to focus on 2 books a week. And we did little blurbs about them. We did First Line Fridays, just trying to get the word out there so that we could help promote all of the titles that were on the list, along with giving everybody information. We uploaded all of the graphics to the website. There is, I think it's 4 libraries is the title that you can go to. So that way all libraries had the same resources. We made them in different sizes. There were flyers that you could print out in black and white, in color. We did bookmarks, just anything that we could do for promotional to make everybody's life a little bit easier, that you just had to download and print it, or download it and share it on your social media, so that we didn't have to ask other libraries to make their own if they didn't have the time or didn't want to. And then that kept us consistent with our messaging across the board. But we just tried to keep everything, we tried to keep our name out there. So we wanted to make frequent enough posts so that we kept coming up and that everything was posted in an organized fashion. So we would drop the same post across all social media at the same date and time, so that everything was out there. And then getting the videos out that was a nice little challenge, but it was fun. We learned a lot from that. But yeah, it was super exciting, and it was nice to be on that side of things too, of getting to promote the books and manage the social media and talking with different librarians and authors who were sharing our posts on Twitter was super exciting when we started to drop that list, and then sharing it with the rest of the reading committee of saying, oh, Steve Shankin retweeted us and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun.
And you guys, I will say, were amazing. You took the ball and you ran, you know, and for the first year to create all of this content. And I don't know if you can see the chat, Susan, but people are saying the downloads were so helpful, and they were, you know, yeah, for busy librarians, whether it's a one person shop or you've got a bigger staff, you know, it's to create all of those kinds of things were amazing. So great. So let's hear from Tricia and Amaya about what it looked like in your school as these promotional materials came out, what you decided to do with them.
Hey, can I start by giving a standing ovation to marketing, because they were amazing. Basically, we didn't have to do much once everything was there. Quick anecdote. When our library was closed for MCAS, I sent out emails and newsletters, and nobody knew. Put a post on Instagram and everybody knew it. So, you know, you have to know your audience, and we just retweeted everything you guys put out there for us. You know, we just created stories and we just Instagram. So thank you. That was super easy. We have a Facebook group for moms and dads and, you know, guardians, caregivers, and that's been super popular. So we were suggesting, you know, titles for moms to get the word out to other kids. I didn't do much, which is why my student, Amaya Turner, is with us. First thing I did was I appointed 4 book ambassadors. So we had a senior, a junior, a sophomore, and a freshman. And it was kind of up to them. We sort of brainstormed, how we wanted to get the word out. And we have a wonderful collaboration with our cable company. And so first thing was we did our own little marketing. Our 4 ambassadors did some book talks.
Is that my cue to show the clip?
I don't know, unless Amaya wants to say something first.
Amaya, you want to set it up?
Sure. Yeah, so we got to be in front of a camera and improv, and it was really great. I really liked the book ambassador thing because it really let me connect with the other 3 underclassmen who were doing it with me, and we got to like compare and contrast, like, oh, what did you like about your book? This is what I liked about mine. I thought that was really great. But yeah, apart from the videos, I think the main thing that we did was we posted on our personal social media, because that way our friends went, oh, what's this? As opposed to when it's from like an organization. So we did that, but like for the most part, I think it was just the videos and the wonderful stuff that we could just download from marketing.
Okay, now I will show the video now, attempt to show that. We're going to just show a little clip featuring Amaya and Trisha.
Now, ignore my part.
Here are 4 of our book ambassadors to let you know their thoughts. Hi, I'm Amaya Turner. I'm a senior and I'm here today to talk about Heartstopper. Heartstopper is a webcomic turned book series that focuses on the relationship between Nick and Charlie as they grow and navigate their sexualities. The book series also has a specific emphasis on mental illness and recovery from it, which I found especially fascinating. It shows healthy relationships and the recovery from unhealthy relationships. Charlie dealt with a great deal of bullying, and the book really focuses on growing past trauma and confronting your issues head on. The queer representation is really great, and it has a specific focus on intersectionality. One of the characters is a trans girl who's Black, and it's really great to see representation that focuses on multiple aspects of one's identity. Heartstopper is a really great book series. There's currently 4 volumes out with a 5th one coming out soon. And it is a finalist for the Massachusetts Teen Book Choice Awards. Voting ends September 23rd, so make sure to get your votes in. Thank you.
You are a future librarian, Mike. That's all I'm going to say about that. So that was terrific. And now, where did that air, Trisha? Give us an idea of how often you're able to get it out to the public.
Well, we, Twitter and all the places, Facebook, the kids sharing stuff on their own social media was great. And there was buzz around, hey, did you, the day after it dropped, I had a 7th grader come in and said, hey, you have the book Heartstopper. I was like, how did you know that? Yeah, I saw it on the, Abington Cam publicized it as well. And there are all sorts of, Abington Facebook groups, and yeah, they have a robust YouTube channel where they share all sports and all town things. And it's just up there. It's gotten some good hits, Amaya.
Yay!
There you go. There you go. That was terrific.
And
So-
we reshared it on the Teen Choice Book Awards social media as well.
I did not know this.
There you go.
Oops, should have told you, sorry.
That's okay.
So let's turn our attention toward more to the public library. Claire, you want to tell us about how you promoted it, what you decided to do with this?
Sure. First of all, we were very excited when we saw that there was going to be a Teen Choice Award. And we knew that we wanted to do something before the statewide voting began. And we thought summer reading was a great time to do that. So we started off by making our own silly TikTok. One of my colleagues is very into basketball. And she decided, let's do a bracket, like a March Madness type thing. So that's what we did. And I can pull up the TikTok here to show you, hopefully. We had our supervisor be the announcer, and she was super great. see. This one. There we go. All right. Let me know if you can't hear the volume.
Hey everyone, welcome to Worcester Public Library's MTCBA Madness. Our team captains are about to pick their draft picks for the players this year, featuring 21 choices. And here is the seed picks. Cat 1, Abby. Team captain number 2, Claire. Team captain number 3, Erin. Who's won? All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, Abby starts us off with the first round.
Just gonna fast forward it a little bit.
Team room here. It's gonna be a 21 team bracket, kind of weird. And some of our books may be pitted against some of our own choices, but we're basically going to come down to what is the top book for this group. Now, you have the ability to vote both on TikTok and here in the team room. You can come by and cast your vote. We'll be casting for the first 5 rounds, which will be pitting, I think it's 13 through 21 against each other. And then the next round be pitting 1 through 12 against each other. So it'll be interesting. And then the people who come out of this alive will be put on to the next round. Thought for something. Oh, who fell? Fell. We will also be doing on TikTok player interviews with our players to tell you a little bit about each one. Like Fallout keeps falling. Stay. So we do a little player interview. So check back in our check back in our talk and listen to our player interviews throughout the next 6 weeks.
And be sure to read those books so you can vote.
Yes. Thank you. This is our first round board. You can vote until the 15th of July. If you vote, put a 1 next to your first. Our titles are Not My Problem versus Nubia, The Girls I've Been versus In the Wild Light, Punching the Air versus Fallout, We Are Not Free versus Don't Ask Me Where I'm From, and Legendborn versus Not So Pure and Simple. So these are your first round picks, and you have until the 15th to vote. Leave a vote.
Yeah, so basically, unfortunately, we didn't end up doing each week. We were going to do like little book talks, but we didn't end up doing that because summer reading got in the way. But so each round was open for a week of voting, and we ended up having in the teen room voting, and then Instagram, I posted to our stories, and I made a post each week, and they got to vote on that. And that's what we did up until September 1st. And our winner was Heartstopper, no surprise. It came down to Heartstopper and Firekeeper's Daughter. So tough, very tough choice. And then once the actual voting started, we made a display with all of the books and then all the wonderful downloads that you made available for the librarians. And it was super popular. We could not keep that display stocked. It was amazing.
That's great.
Awesome to hear.
Yeah.
And did you get a lot of participation in the week to week voting, Claire?
We did on Instagram and we did. Not so much paper ballots for the actual statewide voting, but we saw a lot of teens doing the QR code to vote. So,
Suzanne, do you have the tallies for our various schools? I know we did an online version that we shared, but we also did, paper. Thank you, marketing, because we just took the bookmarks, recycled them, and gave them to kids. They just put a little circle around their favorite. But we would love to know what our tallies were later.
Oh, in terms of
the online stuff. I know that Heartstopper easily, the paper ones, it was like Heartstopper. So
yeah. We had about, I want to correct me if I'm wrong, Susan, we had something on the order of almost 3,000 votes from kids across the Commonwealth. Which was,
That's amazing.
yeah, for our first year, well, first of all, I should say for our first year, we had no idea what to expect. We really didn't. And so that was, I think, a phenomenal response. And we had many teens voted directly just using QR code. Libraries were certainly given the option to do paper ballots. I ran one in my library, but most kids were just voting right, from their phone.
Yeah, we had over 2,500 votes total.
Yeah. So I'm going to turn it back maybe to like Susan. I mean, my question is the same for all of you. Like, what do you feel worked really well? And what do you feel like, maybe I wouldn't do that again?
I think adding in the newsletter and then getting it out to the listservs worked really well and helped us to drive things, especially with it being our first year and us being brand new and non-existent on social media. It was great that we started the accounts early and started to try to drive up some interest in it, but starting from nothing for social media, it's going to take a while to build up followers and people to use the hashtag and kind of get used to checking that. And using the listservs to send out the email, which was basically mimicking what we were sending out weekly on social media, really helped to get the information out there too, because not everybody's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, especially with, current political climates or whatever. People have moved away from social media, but if they're using their work emails, they'll get that email, and that helped us drive out more of the information to make sure everybody had it. But I think personally, I would like to find a way that we could connect with Massachusetts teens more. It's great to get the information out to our fellow librarians in the state, but it would be great for us to find a way that it's an award voted by Massachusetts teens. So it'd be great to find a way to connect with the teens themselves, especially when we want to promote the next round of books.
That's great.
How to do that I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out in my own job. So,
Amaya
we're open to suggestions.
Yeah, Maya can tell us. So Maya and Trisha, same question. What do you feel worked really well? What might you do something different next time?
Can we give a giant shout out to Tressa Santillo for the Commonwealth ebook collection? Because one of the things I would like to do next year is have more copies of books. But Tressa, oh my goodness, bought the ebooks, bought the audiobooks. So kids were able to use Sora and get the titles that we were talking about. So that was amazing, like super supportive. We were lucky. We book talked about summer reading. You mentioned summer reading. So I got to see every single high school student because the seniors had already gone. It gave the teachers a chance to do some grading in the back of the room. And I basically book talked. And I kind of know it works. I don't know whether I should say this publicly, but we had a few books that kind of walked after those book talks. So, somebody wanted to read them.
It does happen. It does happen. And Amaya, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not coming at this from an educator's perspective. I'm coming at this from a student's. But I think for me, the most effective thing that I saw, and I don't know how this would be like, how you guys could figure out a way to like harness this power, was honestly just like student excitement. I remember that my group of friends, we're all super excited that Heartstopper is one of the choices because it's great, but also we're currently dealing with a situation in my district where they're trying to like ban an LGBTQ book, and it's a whole thing. So I know that like part of the, I think, really rallying point, Mrs. London, correct me if I'm wrong, for Heartstopper at our school was like everyone being like, oh, we can do this. This is a way to like talk about our rights and all of this, our identities. And so it was really great. Like I remember the day that the winners were announced, like everyone was going crazy. So I think like student excitement and like students speaking to other students, like, hey, did you vote yet? Oh, who are you gonna vote for? Like I saw a lot of those conversations happening. And those seemed to be very effective.
That's awesome. And thank you for sharing that. Just for us on the committee too, that's That gives us warm fuzzies. That's good.
You guys have so many supporters in Abington.
And our announcement video, I should have said it before, our announcement video of who won was made by a Massachusetts teen. So our videos on TikTok were created by a teen who is our favorite and want to continue to participate and help us make our videos. I
And-
think Wendy's on here, so.
And that video, the announcement video, you can check that out at our, at the website. We won't make you watch more videos, but that was really fun because what we decided to do, really, the marketing committee, was a great idea, was passing along an envelope, kind of building the excitement. And then the last one was the announcement where they're opening it up. So it was as though teams were passing an envelope all the way across the state. So it was really neat. And, you know, schools could just opt to, or public, anybody could participate. We put the word out. Claire, same question for you. What was great? What would you do different?
Sure. I think the fact that we started so early promoting it really helped a lot. And it was a great way because we kept the bracket board near our desk. So it was a great way to kind of like do some readers advisory. A lot of students were looking for summer reading books, and we'd be like, hey, why don't you check this one out? Because it's also going to be in this choice award thing that maybe you're interested in. So that really like helped form relationships with maybe kids that we hadn't seen before and get them excited about it.
Definitely. Yeah. And I guess the question again, I'm mindful that, you know, people are the folks that have joined us for this session today. You know, you might not have a Teen Choice Book Award with all of these great printables and things like that, but what advice would you give to libraries, whether it's school or public, that to promote an award to kind of get kids excited about this? You know, what's a key element? Is it buy-in from the librarian? Is it recruiting kids? What would you say, Tricia?
I would say, Amaya, see, I don't do much. You guys did all the marketing for me. My teen ambassadors talked amongst the kids. It's, you know, I just sit here and read books, eat bonbons. That's what school librarians do, right?
You do so much. You do so much. Like everything with like the film videos and stuff. Like you were the driving force behind setting up all of that and recruiting us, and like you do an incredible amount too. We work well together. Teamwork, I think, seems to be a theme.
Indeed.
And now, Claire, have you done any kind of promotion for other awards in your teen room, or have you taken, you know?
This was the first one we kind of all did together because I've only been here for just over a year. We had someone just start this past March, and then Erin's been here the longest. So it's kind of like our first chance to collaborate on something. So we're hoping to make next year even better.
We were super excited when we saw that you were doing the brackets. I think I saw it first and then shared it with the reading committee. 'Cause it's like, look what Worcester's doing. This is so fun. So
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
I mean, and that I think too is a bit of advice, whether, you know, social media being what it is. I mean, who knows what's happening with Twitter? Rest in peace, Twitter. But whatever award, I think there's so many opportunities to, you know, connect with authors, to connect with kids, and to leverage however you want to promote. I mean, I know again in Rhode Island, they do a phenomenal job as well with their teen award, but you know, there's opportunity to connect with parents of younger kids for like the children's book awards, etc. So there's a question.
I agree, Wendy.
So, I mean, I'm wondering if we have some questions from the audience. We kind of got through what we were wanting to talk about, and what can we share that might be useful for folks out there. I want to, you know, feel free to please post in the chat.
So I think you all need to address Wendy's question, which is how can everyone get an Amaya in their school?
If only I knew.
Work on that cloning project, won't you? Yeah. Come on, Tricia, let's go.
It's on my to-do. It's on our to-do list. We're trying to get through it.
Perfect.
I think one of the things that really helped was the balanced collection, because I found a book for everybody. You know, some people really like graphic novels, and we had tons, and it was wonderful. You know, some people don't like fiction, but there was Steve Shankin, you know, and they don't make better nonfiction books than that. Things were really varied. I don't know whether we lucked out because of the books that were published or nominated, or whether we had our, you know, bloodbath, knockdown, drag out, you know, at the end, but it just really, things kind of fell into place that we had a nice selection. And I heard good feedback from kids.
Which is great. That to me is, you know, when we kind of started this crazy journey, the idea was we just wanted to put it in the hands ultimately of the teens to say, what do you like? What do you, because I mean, I think there's this concept out there, you know, and it's sad but true, but a lot of people think teens don't read. Now, we are all, you know, we all work with this population. We're like, no, it's alive and well. Could teens be reading more? You know, is there, you know, a lot of other ways we can come at it? But I think an award gives a particular opportunity, sort of say, hey, here's a cool thing that people are recognizing. So yes, somebody, Leanne RIPA, which is the Rhode Island Teen Book Award, which again, we modeled ours on. And I just want to give every prop, every shout out, and every thank you to Rhode Island for helping us, you know, kind of lay down the model for what we're doing. But yeah, it's a varied list. And that's something that we talk about as an award committee, how we can try to think of every reader and all kinds of genres and all kinds of, you know, the formats of graphic novels and how we can come at that. We also, Susan, you were really good about making sure to keep audiobooks front and center for us. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think, I mean, for me personally as a reader, I wouldn't get through as many books as I do without audiobooks, whether it's my commute or just that's how I get chores done, or, you know, being an adult, whatever makes it more fun. And I think that's a big thing too, that not everybody wants to read either an ebook or the print book of something. And so having us be, and so many audiobooks have amazing productions on them, that while our award isn't specifically for that, I think highlighting which ones have like really quality audiobooks was an important aspect of it, just as much as us noting which titles were good for all ages of teens versus the ones that might have been a little bit more mature content for older teens. Just giving it people options to see that there are different formats that they can do. I think it's also kind of that subtle nod of like audiobooks count as reading if we're highlighting which ones we recommend as audiobooks. So, and that was fun too, as members of the reading committee, if people were talking about a book that you hadn't gotten to yet and you had all these people saying, oh, check out the audiobook, then you kind of knew, all right, if I'm going to make time to read this book so that I can rate it, then I'm going to try to do the audiobook version of it because everybody else is talking about how good it is.
As a librarian who serves both younger teens and older teens, can I just jump in and say it was really nice that our varied collection also had things for our 7th and 8th graders. So I book talked them. I went down to the middle school. You know, not all of the titles that we had were appropriate, but we talked about the ones that were. And I also added them. I do the summer reading lists for the 7th and 8th grade. And I included our choices on their summer reading list. So we had kids reading.
And that's a great mention of the summer reading, because we've got a question. They want to hear more. Claire, if you would expand about how Worcester Public Library integrated this list into the summer reading program. How did that work for you?
Yeah, so we didn't really do anything official, but the schools, they have their lists that are mostly just recommended authors, and the students can pick from those authors. And a lot of them we found that would come in had either never been to the library before or hadn't been in a very long time. And we took that as an opportunity to really push the books on that list. We told them, you know, these are just recommendations. You can really read whatever you want that you're comfortable with at your level. And we just really kept pushing those titles. We're hoping maybe next year to coordinate more with the actual schools to try and get more of those authors on the list recommendations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
Yeah,
Yeah, so if you are school librarians, like work with your schools because that would be awesome. I know in excuse me, so I work in Lunenburg and I know that some of the English teachers in Lunenburg had given our list of books as their required summer reading for their students, which helped get the word out. And Monty Tech did the same thing too. They shared the list with their students. So getting not making them required reading, but helping get our list of nominated titles out into the districts, especially with the school summer reading programs, is a huge help. And it's also giving kids different books to read than they might normally get assigned for summer reading. So it's kind of a win-win all around.
Yeah, and Christy was saying Danvers High School did the same. I know, I believe Beverly High School did as well, including it's, can be an easy solution for school librarians if you've got a good state award list like that. What we liked about ours, again, is that it had that teen choice, the voting element, that kids knew that they could look forward to the voting in September. We've talked about there's different timelines. I know like that's perennially a topic between school and public librarians, the timeline for everything from book purchasing to summer reading to when you should push things to encourage. So, we're still trying to get it right is what I'm saying. We're completely open to suggestions. We love hearing it. We're looking around at other states still. Interesting. Okay, the question about the public library that supports my high school summer reading prefers books that are in paperback. That is good to know, Susan, isn't it? So
It is, yeah.
But that wouldn't be new books because, the books that we read and choose have to be published within the past couple of years.
Right.
So that'd be kind of a challenge for us. We were very lucky because we have a super supportive English department and all of the kids in our school have to read particular by grade. So the seniors have to read a health book. We've got a list. We've got, social studies takes the burden of one grade. But then everybody has to read a second book of choice. And this was the list that we gave. And it was easy peasy lemon squeezy for everybody. And, we got a great response.
Yeah, and we're fully aware too. Exactly. No list is ever going to be perfect. I mean, we're all professionals at this, and we're doing our best to try to curate a list that we think is going to be, once we put it into the hands of the teens of our state, is going to generate that excitement. And so, I feel like Amaya, we kind of did that. I don't know.
Absolutely.
We're going to try to keep up that momentum and that excitement and that passion, because it's excited to be at the ground level. But again, if you are in a state that has an award for teens or whatever, I think there's opportunities that you can leverage that in a whole lot of different directions. Like hopefully we were hoping to share some of that today. I don't know if there's any other questions from the crowd. We kind of got through earlier, maybe because it's Friday afternoon and we're all looking at the sun going down. But if you got some closing thoughts, I'll start with you again, Susan. If you've got some closing thoughts about, as we're looking toward next year or what you're thinking about with, I'll put you on the spot. What's your new hot plan to promote this next year?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got our year one done. We figured out what we wanted to try to accomplish, and I know we had a shortened window of operation for the first year. So going into this next reading season, and once we announce who's going to be on the 2023 list, we already know kind of where we want to go with things. But we would love input. So you can always reach out to us on social media, send us an email, and let us know if you wish that we had done something differently or something more. We're open to suggestions on what to do. And I know it's been mentioned on the reading committee that we've been kind of trying to figure out, not necessarily to throw titles in, but we captured the joy that was Heartstopper this past year, and that brought interest in and got teens voting. And we're trying to find out what the 2023 Heartstopper is, because we can't nominate volume 2. So, trying to find what the next title that has that much impact behind it. and to, keep reading and keep doing diverse lists, and we'll see what happens. But it's exciting, and we already have a good list of books so far. So we're excited to share those with you when we get to that point. And we have a comment we did. So on social media, whenever we were posting each week, when we were highlighting the titles, I was tagging the authors on Instagram and Twitter. And so that some of them interacted, some of them retweeted. Mike Curato, Steve Shankin were definitely ones that were sharing our stuff on Twitter, which was awesome. We did reach out to notify what titles were winning. I don't think we ever heard back from either Alice Osman or Steve Shankin on letting them know that they did win and were runner-up, but we tried. We definitely reached out to them to try to get them involved a little bit, but the authors have busy lives, and so who knows what happens with next year.
Well, we announced right about our winner, right about the time they were announcing the second season of Heartstoppers. So I think Alice Osman had a little bit on her plate. Yeah. So some closing thoughts from Tricia and Amaya, and if it's okay, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to throw up our how to connect with us again, because that will be a good resource. So some closing thoughts from Tricia and Amaya.
Kim, we probably need to say again that we cannot choose Heartstopper 2, 3, 4, or 5 when it comes in, because our rules say there are no sequels. I did have a question from one of my sophomores. They were wondering how they can have input with the final list. I said, well, you can make suggestions to me. You can tell me, what are you reading that you absolutely love? I will read it and then, put it in. Right now, my favorite so far, plot spoiler, The Life and Crimes of Hoodie Rosen by Isaac Blum. Totally love it. So I think you should all read it. But anyway, is there a way that, going forward, we might have a way that students can recommend things for the librarians to read? That was their question.
I think that would be great. I mean, even if you're not on the reading committee, if you have teens that are passionate about newly published books, email us and let us know. I think we would be more than open to hearing that input. When we're reading and reviewing, we're trying to approach it from a teen interest versus us as adults reading YA literature. So if there are teens who are saying that, you keep having teens asking for one copy of something and they keep raving about it, let us know, because if it's not on our radar, I think, at least me personally as a teen librarian, I would want to know about that book to make sure that I had it in my collection, let alone for nominating for the book award. But yeah, I mean, we would love input from teens, even if they want to interact on social media, they can reach out to us directly, let you know if you're on the reading committee, add that into your nomination that it's nominated by teens, because that's the purpose of this to begin with. So
what's Amaya reading? This is what we want to know. Amaya, what are you reading?
I'm so glad you asked. There's this great book series. The 3rd book just came out. It's called the Locked Tomb series. The 1st book is Gideon the Ninth. Highly recommend if you're looking for contenders for next year. It's really good.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Annotating my copy of it.
Wrote it down. Thanks.
And in all honesty, that might be something that we might want to look into too, on some way to market of, hey, teens en masse, reach out to us and suggest books that we consider. Yeah. We could always do something like that.
I think that would be a great idea, even if a forum on our website, something like that. We've talked about even having teens maybe on our committee at some point. I don't think we're quite there yet, but it's exciting because we want to keep the teens of Massachusetts front and center at all times. Be thinking about what they are reading and what they're excited about and what will encourage them to just be passionate readers. So,
and it's books published this year and the past year. And that they are books that are published with the intention of being YA for teens. And that's been a heated topic of discussion on the reading committee alone, with books that have teen interests that are technically adult books, and then books that are technically middle grade books, which is different than middle school. So that's kind of been a whole thing, but it's got to be a YA book that was published this year or last year. And that is the first in a series, or if it's in the same world as another series, it has to be a standalone. So you wouldn't have had to read the original series to be able to read that standalone book.
You and Claire, do you have any kind of closing thoughts, looking forward, what you're excited about for next year? Are you already hatching plans?
We talked about it a little bit, and I think we really want to do a lot of outreach to the schools just to promote and also to get more teen involvement in the promotion. We just started getting back our regular group of teens after the pandemic, so it's been a little hard. And then we also talked about getting more copies of whatever books are chosen for next year. So we make sure we have enough for everyone. So we're excited.
And I will say, if anybody here is interested, even if you're not necessarily a Massachusetts resident or librarian or live and work there, you can certainly, you're welcome to sign up for our newsletter. You can go to our Mass Teen Choice website, and you can sign up for our newsletter right there just to see what we're up to and get some regular announcements. If you want to.
And follow us on social media.
Follow us on social media. Yes. So I can't thank you all enough. It looks like we're wrapping up a little early. Do we have any questions that we have not addressed in the chat? What is the criteria for selection besides no sequels published? Yes, yeah. So we talked about that. Yeah, and if you go to Mass Teen Choice, we've made every effort to try to be really transparent about our process as well. So you can see our bylaws, which are an evolving thing, but we're doing our best. Again, I would be remiss if I didn't give every shout out to Rhode Island for helping us in so many ways. And I would also say help the great people of Massachusetts. We connected with all of the library and professional organizations. And so that's where we, connected with Tressa Santillo to help us with Sora, with Christy Ferrer, who's helping us, appear here and talk to you today and support us in a million ways, Salem State University. So we really tried to make it a statewide event. We have every intention of getting out to the western part of the state, which, we're a little eastern heavy. That's just the way that the geography tends to go. But we have representatives from that part of the state, and we really are committed to trying to present the teens of Massachusetts with the best list we can each year.
And we marketed this on a $0 budget too. So that's, I think, something that we should be proud of as the committee, but as a whole, that all the social media, everything that we did for marketing, multiple members of us were reaching out to our indie bookstores in our towns to let them know about the book award and asking if they would promote it and help us. And it was all a grassroots effort. So
thank you for bringing that up, Susan, because there was no money. There was no money.
Maya, are you raising your hand?
I'm raising my, just like class.
Okay.
As a Massachusetts teen, I cannot thank you. Sorry to speak on behalf of all Massachusetts teens, but I cannot thank you all enough for the work that you put in, for the success. It was so incredible to be a part of this. I'm really sad to graduate because I won't be at Abington next year, hopefully, if I graduate. But the work you guys did was absolutely incredible, and I cannot stress enough how many important conversations were had because of the work that you guys did. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. You'll have to let Trisha know what you think of our 2023 list.
Oh, I will.
She will.
It's gonna do wonderful.
Well, I thank you so much. I just want to say I'm tearing up now. Oh my gosh. But I just want to say thank you to our panelists. Thank you, Trisha, Claire, Amaya, Susan. Thank you all for the work that you're doing. Thank you to Christy for having us as part of this. Please, anybody out there in the audience, if you want to reach out, I've left this slide up. Please feel free to connect with us if we can provide any insider support or suggestions or really anything. If you want to find out more about how we did it, And thank you so very much for attending our session today.
This was fantastic. Thank you all. I'm gonna ask you to stop sharing your screen so I can just put up some stuff as a final end of the day. We made it. Thank you everybody for being part of Teen Summit 2022, our 13th year. We do have some advanced copies, digital advanced copies in the virtual tote bag. So thank you to Simon & Schuster. Thank you to Sourcebooks. Our evaluation, I did drop into the chat. Please fill it out. There will be raffles. If you fill out the survey, you have the opportunity to leave your email, and I have a boatload of books in the office that I will be mailing out to people as thank yous for participating in Teen Summit. And then we also have thank you to all the consultants. It feels weird to say thank you to myself, but the other New England consultants who are fantastic. We've really taken this from Massachusetts only to being all of New England, and it's really been so wonderful to work with this team of consultants. So thank you, everybody. Have a good Friday. I hope the last 5 minutes of sunshine are fabulous for you if you can get outside. So thank you all. I'm going to stop sharing and stop recording.